Silence has a sound when there's no one left to break it. Right now, across an entire planet built for 8 billion people, you are the only heartbeat anyone could find. You don't remember the exact moment everyone else stopped breathing. You remember a virus on the news, then quarantine zones, then static where the news used to be. Researchers studying worst-case pandemics estimate a pathogen with a 99.9% fatality rate could end most of human civilization in under 2 years. You woke up in a sealed underground research bunker, immune for reasons no one left alive can explain. Out of nearly 8 billion people, the odds of total natural immunity to something that lethal are close to 1 in a billion. You are, technically, a statistical impossibility. 3 weeks after the bunker door first lets in daylight, the regional power grid goes dark for good. Most unmanned electrical grids collapse within 2 to 4 weeks once nobody is left to balance the load. Night becomes a depth of black that hasn't settled over a city in over a century. The first morning outside, you walk into a parking lot holding 200 cars that will never start again. A car battery left untouched drains completely within about 6 weeks, and yours might be the last hand that ever turns most of these keys. You break into a supermarket because it feels safer than the open street, even though there's no one left to threaten you. An average supermarket holds close to a month of food for 10,000 people. For one person alone, that's roughly 200 years of food, if expiration dates didn't exist, which they do. Money becomes a museum exhibit almost immediately. You walk into a bank vault holding what used to be $50 million in gold bars, and it's worth exactly nothing, because currency only has value when at least one other person agrees to want it. You move into the nicest house in town within the first month, 4 bedrooms, a pool, a wine cellar, and it means nothing within 6 months, because comfort without anyone to share it with just becomes square footage. You spend one afternoon inside an empty National Art Museum, standing in front of a painting once protected by reinforced glass and 20 security guards, worth tens of millions of dollars. You stay exactly 4 minutes, because beauty without anyone to discuss it with loses most of its weight. Without a single artificial light competing with the sky, you can suddenly see thousands more stars than any city dweller ever could. Light pollution used to hide nearly 80% of the night sky over major cities. Now all of it belongs to you, every single night, for no one. Within your first year, the wildlife notices before you do. Deer start walking down the center of streets that once held rush hour traffic for 7 million people. Biologists call this rapid animal return feral resurgence, and it usually happens within 6 to 18 months of human absence. You start sleeping with a rifle nearby, not because anyone's coming, but because something is always moving outside now. The most dangerous thing left isn't the animals. It's the 440 nuclear reactors around the world that no one is maintaining anymore. Without constant cooling, spent fuel pools at unmaintained plants can overheat within days to weeks, and meltdown risk becomes one of the first things you map and permanently avoid. You learn this the hard way, from a radiation symbol on a fence 300 miles from where you started. By year 2, the easy resources are gone. Gasoline left untreated breaks down into a sludge within 6 to 12 months, so every car you find by now is just dead weight with wheels. You teach yourself to wire solar panels stripped from abandoned houses, because batteries that once powered a neighborhood now only need to power one person. Your first real harvest comes in year 3, 11 rows of potatoes, grown from seed potatoes you found rotting in a flooded cellar. It isn't much. It's also the first time in 3 years you've made something instead of just finding it. By year 4, you've taught yourself pressure canning from a manual found in an abandoned library, sealing away 200 jars of vegetables for a winter that follows no one's schedule but yours. The loneliness arrives slower than the danger did, and it hits harder. Researchers who study isolated teams in Antarctica found that extended solitude can trigger measurable psychological strain within 4 to 6 months. You start narrating your day out loud, just to hear a voice, even when that voice is your own. You name the crows that visit your garden. You write letters to people who can't read them anymore, then keep writing them anyway, because the habit is the only thing keeping you tethered to who you used to be. You keep a single showbox of photographs, not because you need to see the faces, but because forgetting them feels like the real end of the world, the one that hasn't technically happened to you yet. You scan radio frequencies almost every night for nearly 2 years before you stop expecting an answer. The hardest day isn't the day everyone disappeared. It's the day, roughly 18 months later, that you stop checking the radio at all. Your dreams start populating themselves with crowds again, more often as the years pass, your mind apparently unwilling to fully accept a world this empty, even after a decade of evidence. By year 5, You've mastered the resources that actually matter. Clean water, stored calories, reliable heat. You're running on roughly 1,200 to 1,500 calories a day from your own garden and stored cans, just enough to stay sharp without burning through supplies that took years to build. You've buried 2 pets you found half-starved and adopted, and you understand, in a way you never expected to, that grief doesn't need another human present to be real. Around year 7, the infrastructure you once relied on for free starts failing for good. Unmaintained municipal water systems typically fail within 2 to 5 years of losing pump power, so you've already rerouted your life to a well and a hand pump you rebuilt from a hardware store manual. By year 8, you've rebuilt a basic forge from instructions in a salvaged blacksmithing book, able to repair tools that would otherwise become permanently useless once their factories are gone for good. You've stopped thinking of the old world as normal and started thinking of it as a place you visited once, a long time ago, in someone else's memory. By year 10, you are, by any practical measure, the most self-sufficient human being who has ever lived, and also the only witness to that fact. You've planted, hunted, built, buried, and survived without a single other vote, opinion, or witness to confirm any of it actually happened. The skills stack up. The audience for them never arrives. The final insight comes quietly, the way most real ones do. Everything you valued before, money, status, achievement, only ever meant anything because someone else was there to recognize it. Alone, none of it translates the same way. What's left, the only thing that ever really mattered, was never the stuff. It was always the people you would have shown it to.